from the side, ref.
In from the side is back with another episode, a different setup that we have this week, as opposed to all the shows that you've been watching over the last couple of weeks. But there's two reasons why we're doing this digitally. We've embraced the digital age, myself and Matt, which we'll explain now. But firstly, welcome back to my partner in crime and co-host, Matthew Rhodes.
Hey, buddy. How you going?
Yeah, not too bad, mate. It's weird talking to you online. We're so used to sitting next to each other drinking a brandy, and now we're drinking a digital brandy. There we go.
Yeah, boy. Still on it.
We'll always have a brandy in hand, but yeah, unfortunately,
We're not drinking a digital brandy. We're drinking a brandy digitally.
Yeah, we're still enjoying it. We're still enjoying it.
100%.
So myself and the wifey, we're not too well, and we didn't want to expose Matt and his boy to all our nasty germs. And also, Matt's on his way to South Africa for a couple of weeks, so this is a good trial run for us to to just see how this goes digitally, this or online. This might look a little bit different in the coming weeks. So, Matt, have you stopped basking in the glow of last week's performance in Wellington? Are we ready to talk about the next game? Because I'm sure we can spend another hour talking about what happened last week.
It's been a good vibe. It's been nice to sort of have a 2-week break after such a win. Everyone that I've spoken to, all my mates, all the South African supporters, everyone's been on a high. And on the converse side, all my Kiwi mates have been very quiet. The chat has been quite limited on that front. But like I said immediately after, every dog has their day. It was a good day in the sun for us, and it was raining and pouring for them. And it all swings and roundabouts. They will come out fighting fit. And so I'm not sure if we're going to talk about the Kiwis and the Aussies in this particular show. I think we're going to do a separate show to talk about the Bledisloe.
We'll get to them.
Yeah. I think the Bledisloe needs its own show this week, just because of all the hype leading up to this. The first time that the Australians have a realistic chance of taking that, I think, in a long time. It also puts into context the fact that they might still win the championship if they do the double over the Kiwis. The Kiwis have a lot to fight for and defend for, and after that loss, they'll be smarting. So beware the wounded buffalo is what I always say. And so it's been really good the last 2 weeks to be on this high, but we go into this next week with and these next games against Argentina still with a point to prove. I think we've got we're all riding the crest of this beautiful wave, but that wave will come crashing down hard on our faces if we don't go and put out a good performance this week ahead. And back it up and follow it up in the week coming.
It's a big week for us, right? And I think Rassie said it afterwards, like he put a lot of emphasis on just bringing the guys back down to earth. I don't think the Springboks will be complacent. We understand the importance of this game, and we'll see it in the team selection. We have seen it in the team selection. Part of the reason why we're recording today is because we wanted to wait for Rassie to put his team out, which we'll get to now. But I mean, just what a juicy rugby championship. It's been
amazing,
the best. It's been the best one in a long time. All teams 2 from 4. There's 2 points between first and last place on the log. It's really going to come down to bonus points. Interestingly enough,
am I right in saying, sorry to interrupt you there, but am I right in saying that every team still has a realistic or mathematical chance of winning it?
Absolutely. It's going to come down to that last weekend, and it's going to come down to the last game at Twickenham that we're going to watch. So again,
which you and I will be reporting live.
It's going to be epic. It's going to be epic. But let's focus on Saturday's game, Durban first, right? We've had some mixed results against the Argies in the past. Famously, we lost our first ever test against them in Durban in 2015, just before the World Cup. We're going to show some highlights later. But, mate, if you underestimate this Argentinian side, you do that at
your peril. Yeah. I agree. Shark Tank has not been kind to us in this particular fixture previously. The Argentinians will be looking at that and licking their lips because, again, they're still in the mix, man. They play some good rugby. They've had some wins over us, wins over the Aussies, wins over the All Blacks, rather. And they'll be looking at us going, the Bokke have taken a few knocks from both teams that we've beaten. So, realistically, we back ourselves to beat them. So they'll be coming in there with a lot of confidence and also taking confidence from the wins that they've had at this particular fixture previously. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not a foregone conclusion by any means.
No, we're gonna have to play out of our boots.
Hard.
But oddly enough, we've been not moaning, but we've been asking for Rassie to show a little bit more consistency in team selection, and that's what he's done this week.
Yeah.
Very, very few changes. The two that I could see are injury enforced, like Damien moves to fullback and Yebben's back in the team. We're going to run through the team now,
Yeah.
but I think Wellington, as much as Eden Park left a lot of questions for us as South African fans, Wellington has given us and the coach, not that it's up to us, but it's given us a lot of answers in terms of who that starting lineup needs to be. And I'm happy. I'm happy to see a little bit of consistency week in, week out. We're not seeing 10 changes in the team. So, let's run through it quickly, Matt. What does the pack look like?
Sure. So from 1 to 3, no change in the front row. Oxen Chair, Malcolm Marx, and Thomas du Toit retain their positions up front. I saw on a few of the rugby WhatsApp groups that I'm part of, which that number seems to be growing. I seem to be getting added to more and more rugby groups, but a few people asking the question as to why Wilco Low isn't starting, and I think it comes back to the conversation. Wilco is obviously on the bench. But I think it comes back to that point that we were talking about last week, in that Thomas du Toit, Oxen Chair, Malcolm Marx, they did fantastically well in the last game for the 41 minutes that they were on the pitch. Thomas maybe a bit more mobile in comparison to Wilco, getting around the park in those early stages, being physical, being dominant, getting into the breakdowns, not just being looked upon as a scrummager, but tiring out the legs of the opposition, not just in the front row, but across the pack, and being really aggressive. And I think when you have that kind of influence, as we discussed, and then you've got someone like Wilco to come on with the second half or 30, 40 minutes to play, it's a really good combination. And the same can be said if Thomas was on the bench and Wilco started. I think it'll be exactly the
Mate,
same.
this is where Rassie is miles ahead of any other international coach. His starting team isn't necessarily the best players in their positions, right? And you can go back to the World Cup in 2019, where he brought Malcolm off the bench and started Bongi. Well, Bongi did a great job, and he did the job. But a lot of people would have said Malcolm's the best player on earth. Why are you picking him from the bench? But his impact from the bench is just so much bigger. It's the same with Kwagga. And I see Wilco doing very much the same thing. To your point, you scrum these guys, you give a little bit of parity and scrum dominance at most scrums during the first half. Even if you bring Wilco on with 35 minutes left to go, that's all he has to do. Just play for 35 minutes, give it his all, scrum you to pieces. And in both tests against the All Blacks at Eden Park and Wellington, the moment he came on, the next scrum, we scored a try from the scrum. We did it in both tests. So his impact is undeniable, and I have no issue with him coming off the bench. It doesn't mean Thomas is necessarily a better tight end. It just means his role is, come on, 35 minutes, bash them.
And fair play to Thomas du Toit. We've been asking for him to stand up and give kind of a world beater performance. He's been the best player in the Premiership for a while. He's done exceptional for Bath. We've both been kind of egging him on and willing him on to have a stand-up performance. And I think his last game he was sensational. So for him to retain that starting position, I think is also a bit of a nod from Rassie, and that'll only go a long way, I think, to helping build his confidence. Not that he needs it, but like we've seen with Mani, like we've seen with others, you need a bit of consistency in that starting jersey to kind of get belief in yourself at that international level. And maybe that's what Russ is doing here. So Ox and Chair, no really need to shine any lights on him because he's world class. And him, Thomas du Toit and Malcolm Marx did sensationally well, like I say, in the last game. Malcolm got initially was a bit all over the shop with the first lineup, but got his set piece going, was great in scrummaging. What I'd like to see a bit more from Malcolm actually is a bit more of that jackling. So he was really, really good on that before. He's not been as prevalent or dominant in winning us some turnover ball at the breakdown. And so if he could get back to that, again, just a bit of a wish list here. But in terms of retaining his position in the starting lineup, I think he had a sensational game. He got the set piece going well, started, connecting with the jumpers. And again, he's a sensational scrummager, and that front row is dominant. So happy to see that back in action again. Onto the locking pair, Ruan Nakia, I think, has been outstanding, and so for him to retain his position at 5 is really good. It gives me a lot of confidence. He has really firmed up that line out piece for us, where it was a bit wayward at the beginning of this tournament. He's really come in and solidified that. So, I'm chuffed to see him there. And then Eben Etzebeth comes in to support him. Luat Diaga is obviously injured. Eben comes in. I thought Archia had a sensational game when he came on for Luat last week, and he might feel a little begrudged to find himself on the bench. To be fair, I don't mind it. Whether Eben was on the bench and he comes on for Archia or vice versa, I think the skill level and capability of both of these individuals is really, really up there. And Eben, having been effectively dropped, would have another point to prove, and who would want to be the person opposite him with a point to prove?
Yeah, hopefully that's lit a fire under
Yeah.
Eben a little bit. I mean, who would have ever thought? And look, Rassi's got a very strong rotation policy.
Yeah.
I think in Eben's case, after Eden Park, you could sense that he was dropped. Like Rassi wasn't happy with the performance, and that definitely would fire Eben up, because we know that he's better than that.
He'd be pissed.
Yeah, he'd be pissed. But I'd love to see Archie get more minutes. So hopefully it doesn't just come on with 20 to go. Hopefully he plays most of the second half, because, like you say,
I'd like to see a
impact,
changeover at halftime.
Yeah, his impact was massive. So whether it's for Ruan or Eben, he can do the job on both sides of the scrum. So
fair play.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, and lucky to see him come in at that kind of with that flexibility. If either of those boys go down in the game, Luat was off in 10 minutes. So if we get another injury with either of our 4 or 5, to have Archia to come on, him to scrum down with either Ruan or Eben, it's a formidable packing solution.
Okay, Matt, so that's the tight 5, strong as always. We're looking for set piece dominance. And again, no changes in the loose forwards, which is really great to see.
Yeah, you and I both said that we think that this is the best loose trio combination that we have, with Sia at 6,
100%.
Peter Steff at 7, and then Jasper Wiese at 8. Jasper was like a possessed man. Some of the bumping he did in the game, running with the ball in hand. Again, he'd come off a suspension, and so again had a point to prove. Sia captains the squad again. Sia's 97th test, I think.
Yeah.
An amazing stats. So looking forward for him to raise the bat soon. But between those 3, Peter Steff was outstanding. I mean, I said I wanted to see him get stuck in more, and he did. But I'm thankful that he also found his way out to the wing in the last game. Mani saw him head up, beautiful cross kick. He collects it in the air. Damien McKenzie takes him out. I think it would have been a penalty otherwise. But luckily, Quacher comes through and scores off the offload. So lacquer there.
No, it's part of that Tony Ball strategy, with Peter Steff standing out in the wide channels, taking it up. He's been really, really good. He's got deceptive pace, and obviously he draws in defenders, which opens up space for other players to run through. But just on Jasper quickly, made first game back after a long suspension. He was a man possessed. He's going to be hungry to continue to prove his worth. I think with all these injuries that we've had at 8th man, he's almost relishing this opportunity to say, give it to me, give me that jersey. I'm going to make it my own, and I will own this. So there's less pressure on him, because Hanekom's injured, Alrichlo's injured, Evan Roos is out of favor with Rassi. So it really is only Jasper that can hold that jersey for now, and he's just owned it, which I love. He's brilliant.
Well, it was his jersey before it got taken away because of the suspension. and he just walked back in. He was like, I'm back. I'm owning this eight jersey. So lucky to see him back in. Lucky to see him have a strong hit out last time. But that combination really, really strong in the breakdown. Really good with ball in hand. Gave us a lot of go forward. And so chuffed to see that back.
Yeah.
That back three. A lot of mobility, a lot of ball carrying here with ball in hand has been outstanding in this tournament. And he's kind of grown into that role since he come back with his little niggle as well.
Yeah.
And as I say, Peter Step was just throwing himself into the deep dark arts of all of the rucks and walls. So lucky to see that happening again. At 9 and 10, we got Kobus and Sasha Feinberg and Mgomo Zulu. So Kobus Reinach, I think, has been outstanding in this tournament. His ability to get the ball from the deck at the breakdowns into the hands of the oncoming 10, whether that be Sasha or that be Marnie, or in other opportunities, Andre as well. But he hasn't just kicked the ball out of hand. He's done well to pick and choose his moments of when to pass, when to kick, and he's marshaled it well from the back. So to see him, 35 years of age, I think.
He is, but you know what, Matt? At this stage of his career, I'm so happy for him that he's
Yeah,
producing the type of rugby that he's producing. If you go and watch Chasing the Sun 2 again, he did so well in the quarterfinal, and you know what, in an underperforming Springbok team in the semi-final against England, but he played well in both those tests. And because Jacques Nienaber and Rassie wanted to go with a 7-1 bench in the final, they dropped him out of the 23 completely. And
yeah,
you could just see him in that episode. He was like, I didn't do anything wrong. Like, what the hell? Now I need to pick myself up and support the team. So he hasn't always been, in big games, been backed. And this year he's been backed. He was backed in Wellington. He's being backed now. Okay, Grant's got a bit of a niggle, but I think
yeah.
Quibus would still have started, even with Grant around. And I'm just super happy for him, mate. Long may it continue. Those old legs. I just hope he makes it until 2027. The way he's playing, with him
Yeah,
and Grant, we're okay at halfback.
yeah, I agree. We're really strong in halfback. We got a lot of depth in South Africa. I mean, it was only recently that the Hendrickse boys were the flavor of the month, and now they're not even getting a look in. Unfortunate that Grant Williams has got a niggle, because obviously he gives us versatility. He found himself in the wing last time out. Did really, really well there. He's obviously got the pace to own that position.
He's played on
outright.
the wing. He's played on the wing twice. He did it against Romania in the World Cup, and both times he was so good, mate. So again, he
Yeah, it was
brings you a bit
good.
of versatility, which is nice.
Yeah, but Kobus, so fast, very intelligent. He had a few knock-ons in the last game, one of which was Bowden Barrett being, very conniving and in the dark arts and putting his hand on the ball. The other, obviously, difficult, and that was Achia's tried chalked off, and the one was just, him not paying attention. But I think those little niggles aside, or those little lapse in concentration, he's played well and consistently throughout. So I'm chuffed to see that he gets another nod. Sasha Feinberg and Mgomo Zulu, he had so much energy and sort of a lot of that kind of like energy and enthusiasm that we started the game with against the All Blacks in Wellington. Those first 20 minutes odd came through him, through a lot of the kind of creativity. He's strong in the tackle, runs hard, he's low center of gravity, he's got so much balance. His stepping is off the Richter good. But again, he makes really good decisions. He knows when to kick, he knows when to run. He's not afraid to take it on. He's not afraid to get stuck in. But unfortunately, that also got him a bit of a knock, and he failed his HIA, which went
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah, look, I mean, I think that's my big ask of Sasha's. He's got so much potential. No one doubts that. He is the
Yeah,
chosen one. He's the guy that's going to lead this team. From a general point of view, dictating things on the field into 2027. I think long term he could be an option for captain. Sia's not going to play past 2027. He's definitely got the credentials.
speaks well, eh? Very, very
No, he
for
does.
young. He's an old head on young shoulders, and you can just tell that when he is interviewed and when he talks with a lot of composure. Lots of tens have that in themselves anyway. And I think you need that whenever, Andre gets interviewed, it's the same. But I agree with you, man. He's got the rugby brain, the rugby nous, and the composure to be that general that people get around.
The only thing I would
sure.
like to see is him, get 60 minutes under the belt. Get a good shift in against decent opposition in a crucial game that we have to win, and ideally we score a bonus point. I know that that's not as easy as it sounds, but for us to really put the result of the rugby championship in our own hands, we've got to score a bonus point in both games. So
Yeah.
I'd love to see him step up and just marshal things. And Marnie did that brilliantly well. We've got a lot of heat on this channel. Supposedly we're Marnie haters. We're not. We just haven't seen him step up, and we finally saw it at Wellington. So we've got that backup on the bench. We'll see how he goes. Sorry that Pollard's not there, but in Rassie we trust. I'm never going to question his selections
And
again.
I think like the selection of Thomas getting another knock on, like getting a knock to run on in the starting position at prop. Marnie getting his nod again after such a good and dominant performance in the 10. He deserves it. So he played with so much composure. He played, within his skills and within his capabilities. He didn't try and stretch the line. He didn't go for those 50-50s like he has been. It was almost as if he just relaxed into his skill set and his talent, and all of that, which obviously Rassie and the boys get to see week in and week out. He just had some belief in himself, and he played to his capabilities, and we saw the best of him. And so for him to get the knock, the nod, and to be on the bench again this week, got no issue with it. If you can come on and do what you did last week again and again and again, I'll happily see you on the bench.
Yeah, absolutely. Midfield's an interesting one because I think it's an untried and untested combo. I was very happy with the Damian Willemse, Kane and Moody combo. We know what we've got in De Allende and Jesse, and now we've sort of got a mishmash of the two. I think Andre Esterhuizen gives you a lot of options from the bench. I have no issue with him coming on off the bench because he's now that hybrid player for the Springboks. But it's going to be interesting to see how Damian and Kanan goes. I like Kanan at 13. I always said that that's his future. I thought he was going to take over from and Kriel in the long run. So it's good to see Rassie backing him. I think defensively he made so many good calls and so many good reads against the All Blacks. Like we just continuously with that rush defense put them under pressure. And with Willemse's energy next to him, we saw the best of Moody. So I don't really know what to make of this combo because they're untested as a combo, but individually we know what we have in them as players, both world-class players. So Damien, I think, was one of those players, De Allende was one of those players where there was maybe a little bit of a question mark around his form. Same as Jesse. Jesse's not back, but Damien is. I think it might be injury enforced with Fassi and Damian Willemse moving to fullback. I think that opened up the opportunity for De Allende to be picked again. But hopefully, like Eben, it's a shot at, I don't want to say redemption because that's harsh, but it is an opportunity to just show Rassie, there's a reason I'm a double World Cup winner, and I'll provide the goods in a crucial game.
Mate, to be honest with you, of all the players that played at Eden Park, I thought he didn't have a bad game. Like he didn't have an game, but no one did. And when he had the ball in hand, he looked his typical strong self. There, he didn't really cock up much. And I felt after the game that he could feel a little begrudged to find himself on the wrong side of that cull, for want of a better term. But Damien coming back in, he's strong at 12. He gives us a lot of go forward. He's strong in the tackle always. He breaks a couple of tacklers or brings tacklers in. He always manages to make some post-contact meters, and he's got good hands as well. And so with Kanan, who did really well at 13, on his shoulder, coming through, using his pace, we could see this as a dynamic duo. So I'm excited. I'm excited by this. I think Kanan played, as you said, really, really well. defensively in the first initial exchanges in Wellington, I think he wasn't quite at it with the rest of them. If you're going to do the rush defense, you go together, and he was maybe once or twice a little bit behind, which exposed a bit of space out wide, and that's what the All Blacks were exploiting us in initially. But then as the game grew in, they started getting themselves together. They were going up as a unit. And some of the hits that he put in and the timing of his runs to make the tackles and close out the opposition, I thought was sensational. Bringing that alongside the work that he was doing under the high ball, and not only that, so he was challenging for the high ball when it was there to challenge, but he was there, him, Damien, Willemse, and Grant Williams, when some of those kicks were put up by Kobus Reinach, that they were there to chase. It was pinpoint accuracy because as the catches were being made, those three were onto the opposition, and that just gave us so much momentum. They were on the back foot, they were making mistakes, and so if we can see something similar again, where his timing is right, I think it's going to be explosive. So I'm excited by that. I'm excited by that combination.
That's a good combo.
But as you say, it's untested. So hopefully, whatever they've got going on in the training midweek, if they can get that to replicate on the field come Saturday, it could be exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I hope the Islanders' passing game is on, because that back three, mate, needs to get the ball in their hands.
Tell me about it.
Super excited. And if you just look at how Willemse played on that inside center channel, and he did well when he moved to fullback when Fassi went off, but I'm expecting him to come into the line a lot. So get the ball to him. And I'm calling it early, Matt. Ethan Hooker to get his first test try on Saturday. I'm calling it. It's a home game for him in Durban. He plays for the Sharks. I think it's a fairy tale story. He was so good on the counter attack. He was decent under the high ball. Our game plan worked so well against the All Blacks. So expect more high bombs and him and Chesy to do the job. But I'm calling it. Ethan Hooker is going to score his first try on the weekend.
Mate, it's a good call, and I'd back it. Obviously, I'm a Sharks boy, and so I'd love to see him get his try there in the Shark Tank, Kings Park. But I think again, he played outstandingly well. Deserves to get another run on. The versatility shows. He can play 11, but if something happens in that midfield, he can go in and do a job there. Andre Esterhuizen, off the bench again, gives us a bit of flexibility. Damien on 15, like you said, had an outstanding game, and I think if we can see him, maybe coming into the first receiver, entering into the right channels and entering the line to create space out wide for either Ethan or Cheslin, which I don't know. I've seen him do as much as he did last week, but clearly when he does it really well, and it works. And actually, again, in Eden Park, we picked when Willie was chosen. We thought that that's what he would do. He would give the option both, with the left and right, with Andre right-footed, him coming on the left with his kicking game. He enters that first receiver channel quite often, and we thought that Willie would do that job, and he just didn't. And then obviously Damien comes in, he plays 12, and then goes to fullback, and he did that exceptionally well. So if he can replicate that again in this week coming, I think it gives us a lot of options from the back.
Yeah, absolutely. So that is, a fantastic starting lineup, and off the bench we see a lot of power. Jan-Hendrik Wessels against the backup hooker, which I thought might be an interesting one, just because Marnus van der Merwe was so good off the bench against the All Blacks. I thought he did a decent job. He was very good at the set piece, but also in that Eden Park test where Jan-Hendrik had to play hooker, suddenly when he came on, the lineout's fired. So I have no issue with that. Boan Venter gets another crack off the bench to cover Lucid, and then the big man Wilco coming off the bench for at tight head.
Mr. Thunder Thighs. That boy could kickstart a jumbo jet. Is what he could.
Yeah.
Mate, again, love that bench. Quagga coming off the bench to back that up, and Andre Esterhuizen being that utility, can play in the back or in the scrum. Shot Matt Williams. At the end of the day, it is what it is. We got a really strong pack to come on and to support our boys, and then in the back line, Morne Vandenberg to replace Kobus if something happens there. I think Kobus, has he ever played on the wing before?
Maybe as an injury sub or filling in, but he's never been picked at wing. But
No,
he's
but I'm
again,
very
he's
similar
got the
to the kind
pace
of
to do
job,
it.
very similar to the job that Grant did last time out. Kobus is really quick, runs hard. I think his dad was a sprinter.
He was 400-meter national champion. Yeah,
400-meter national champion. So it's in his genes. If we've got Morne Vandenberg comes on, and we need to do a few switcheroos in the back, your man can I'm sure go out and play on the wing, and Ethan can go in and play center, and we've got some versatility there, so that's great. And as I say, Andre Estes and Mr. Utility himself. It's a really strong squad, man. And again, we didn't talk about him much, but it's almost as if it's not needed because he's so great. Cheslin Colby playing on the wing, can play fullback. You can throw it in. Maybe if we have issues from the lineup, get him to throw it in because he's done that once or
he's
twice.
done that as well. Yeah, absolutely.
He's done that once or twice. But Chesney is just, he's absolute king. We love him on this channel, on the show. And he's always going to do a fantastic job for us. And so, like you say, we need to get the ball in the hands of Damien Phillimser, Cheslin Colby, and Ethan Hooker as often as possible.
Yeah.
And hopefully, if we use the battering ram that is Damien Dallender to do it, with Kane Moody coming off his shoulder, we're going to get the ball out wide, which is what we want to see.
So, Matt, talking about scoring tries and swinging the ball wide, we've only played Argentina 3 times before at Kings Park in the Rugby Championship. But as always, we went into the archives and we picked our top 10 moments from this fixture. Have a look and tell us what you think.
He was outnumbered. First line out for Argentina was to the front for Lamanini, and straight to the middle goes him off. Beautiful offload as well. Here's Marcelo Bosch in for the first try of the game. Argentina comprehensively unlocking the Springbok defence. And skill and pace at the moment. Bosch, very flat ball for his captain Krebi. Kubeli, Matera. Still the penalty advantage being played as Kubeli snipes and gets the offload away. Here's Imhoff. Juan Imhoff is in. Brilliant score from Argentina. Much better contest. Argentina looking for the second shove and going up in the front row. Beautiful off the back of the scrum, and Imhoff in for another score, his second of the game. Brilliantly worked off the back of a slowly advancing on. In a pass he would expect to take in his sleep. Kubeli. Villiers stands up well to the test under the high ball. Creel gets his pass from De Villiers, and here's Leroux running a good line. Villiers, he's got Tino inside but doesn't need him. South Africa hit back through the 9th test try by Villiers.
Nicolas Sanchez covering from a pure Yankee. Yankee beats one. Fancia Colisi on the right-hand side. Ball is out. Under pressure now, the Springboks. There's Moyano, the inside ball to Pablo Matera. Pablo Matera on his 50th test match for Argentina crosses over. Declare. Pollard. Leroux. Cross kick. Chasing on is Skanky. Apua Joji. Second try. Andre Pollard, plenty of options. Billy Leroux in centre field. Leroux. Billy Leroux has a go. Esterhazen busting through. De Klerk kicking it on for Pure Kanchi to chase. Will the boys stay in field? Pure Kanchi, what a tackle, but Valley, it doesn't matter!
Stay behind the ball, right?
Oh, the Springboks have gone deep. And they've gone dark. Oh, the walkover penalty. Easy as that. His first try in the green and gold of South Africa. Jasper Wiese. Use it though. Opportunity for the counter. Argentina. Peter Steph to Toy. Brilliant tackle. As Moroni goes back in field. Missed tackle by the Springboks. Was that high from Steyn? Betranol. Kremer offers his services. Upping the tempo. Argentina much better than what you saw in that first half. Same side they go. They've got numbers on the outside. Boffelli. Looking for work on the left wing. There's opened up for Gonzalez. The step! Jean-Martin Gonzalez! It's been a find. Wow! What a try. What a skill set. Ball. And the likes of Kwagga Smith to pounce and compete on the ground to win this possession back. He's read it defensively. Kwagga Smith wins it for South Africa.
Stay.
Gielendi to Kolisi. It said Koch in support. Great pass out wide from Creel. Mapimpi Crawford. Mapimpi get. He's got Arendse on the outside. 2-on-1 pass. Moody. He finds Arendse. The finish. Kirkley Arendse. Local residents of Kings Park on their feet.
So that's it. Obviously, some mixed results for the Springboks at Kings Park. We lost our very first test to Argentina ever at Kings Park in 2015, as we mentioned. But Matt, some great memories. Which ones do you remember from years gone by?
Yeah, man. It's like the RGs have had some good success there, some really good tries. But for me, whenever I see a Piwa Janchi with ball in hand, I just think of, and those are some great tries that we showed today. I feel a sad sense of loss because of what happened with him in his career. He was just so outstanding and so exciting, and he was so quick. But obviously there was a reason for that. And now he's obviously back. He's playing professional rugby, but he's never really seemed to kind of get to the heights of what he had before. And for me, that's kind of sad. So it was nice to see those tries going over because I thought he was an exciting player back then.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I mean, yeah, Argentina, they always pitch in this fixture. They give us a good show. They beat us there. I think there's a couple of tries that Gonzalez, that step where he stepped Willie and just, completely beat him on the outside.
Yeah.
Juan Imhoff, Marcelo Bosch, Pablo Matera. There's as many great Argentina tries as Springbok tries. So we are, to quote a legend on the show, it's going to be a humdinger. I can't wait.
It's going to be a humdinger. This whole weekend ahead of rugby is going to be so great. Obviously, the All Blacks are playing the Wallabies in the Bledisloe. And if you want to hear about our thoughts on that, we're going to do a show immediately after this, a separate show. So tune in for that. There'll also be some amazing Bledisloe tries from years gone by, which we've gone into archives for. I'm super excited for that. There's a lot of anticipation, I think, on both sides. All Blacks want to prove a point after the loss that they've just taken. Wallabies see a wounded buffalo and they want to take it down. So that's going to be exciting to watch. But on our side, there's still a point to prove. We've just had a mixed run of form. We've come off the back of beating the All Blacks the most comprehensively we've ever done. And we're riding on a high. But that can all come crashing down, as I said, if we don't back up that performance again. And sometimes when there's an international break in 2 weeks and you rest on your laurels, you come back and you're not match fit, and I don't want to see that happen. So I'm hoping our boys are aware, acutely aware of the opportunity that still stands in front of them, where we could come out as rugby championship winners, and deservedly so, especially because of the run of form that we've had. But we need to go out and smash the RG2 love with bonus points. And so if they the RGs are looking at us going, we can get a win here. They're still in the mix. They're still thinking that they can win it for the first time ever. And so there's a lot to play for across all four teams. And so as a fan, it makes it really, really exciting. Lots of braais, lots of brandy, and lots of rugby to watch on the weekend.
Yeah. And obviously the URC kicks off as well. I can't remember who the Sharks are playing, but the Bulls are in action playing the Ospreys. So looking forward to that. and also it's the Women's World Cup final. Before we close, Matt, can I just quickly say the Currie Cup wrapped up, and Griquas won the Currie Cup for the first time in 55 years. I think it's worth a mention. Look, I didn't follow the Currie Cup that closely. It's not our premier competition anymore, but don't want to take anything away from Griquas. The last time they won it, Manikis Roux and Piet Versaghi played for Griquas in 1970 when they upset the Bulls in Kimberley. So another massive win. Twice in a row that the Lions couldn't do it in the final with the last kick of the game. It's
83 minutes. It's 83 minutes, both games.
It's a bit of a fairy tale story. And George Whitehead, is such a talisman of Griquas rugby. He's been with him forever. Just super stoked for the guys. Great to see. I don't want to say the smaller unions because they deserve their spot up there, but great to see non-URC teams competing in the Currie Cup and winning the Currie Cup. I loved it. Great for Griquas.
Yeah, sensational. Congratulations to them. Am I right in saying also that unfortunately Whitehead's old man passed away in the week leading up to it, and so for him to kick that winning kick when he did, as you say, it was written in the stars. So very sad story, but obviously a story written in the stars where after the kick and the kick goes over, I think he points to the heavens.
Yeah,
one for his dad. So congratulations to them, as you say. 50 plus years, the Currie Cup still riding dreams, and chuffed to see that for them. Rugby all round, man. It's just exciting at the moment, and it's fun to be a fan, and so chuffed to see them doing well and beating a team like the Lions. The Lions have been outstanding all year, 2 years going. They have some exciting players like Kewan Horn, who is yet to sign his contract with the Lions, and apparently
he's going to come to the Bulls.
Apparently, he's being approached by your lads to come across there. So lots of dealings being done. But
we only have Willie for another season, so it'll make sense for him to come over.
Yeah, so all good. I'm excited about the weekend. I'm excited about being a fan of rugby at the moment, and I'm excited to see what this looks like after you've done the editing and we've done some post production. So
we'll see how it goes. I want to see the comments in the comment section. So thank you as always to our 15 loyal fans that we have. Hopefully that audience grows with every video that we post. But thank you so much for watching. If you watch to the end, leave your comments in the comment section below. Who do you think is going to win? Both me and Matt, we're calling it. The Bokke are going to win. We're going to score a bonus point. I'm calling it Bokke about 35-21, something like that. But leave your comments in the comment section below. And remember to subscribe to the channel. Click the notification button at the bottom of the screen. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. We're on all the social medias. And next week we'll do this again. Cheers.
Yes.